Charleston tonight, one of America's best point guards, C.J. Fulton, looks to get his Cougars back on track after a loss on Monday as they welcome North Carolina A&T. College basketball on CBS Sports Network is presented by Old Trapper Beef Jerky. Beautiful downtown Charleston, South Carolina, the home of the back-to-back reigning CAA champion Cougars. Tonight they welcome in North Carolina A&T in a Coastal Athletic Association matchup. Taking a look at the standings, Aggies trying to get their first league win. How about Towson at the top? UNCW, you'll see them this weekend on CBS Sports Network at Drexel, while William & Mary and Charleston, Campbell all in the mix. As welcome you to our broadcast, everybody. I'm John Fantz up in New Jersey. Due to some icy conditions on the East Coast, making us feel warmer is Terrence Oglesby. And Terrence, tonight we've got an elite battle in the post that we're watching for.
We absolutely do. Two traditional bigs of the European variety. That's what fires me up. I like playing with old school bigs, and both of these guys are exactly that. Nikos Hitakoutas, he's a guy who really rebounds the ball well, right at 9 per game, and protects the rim as well. And Ante Brzovic, so creative as a scorer in the post. I'm really excited about watching both of them. But if we're going to look at Nikos Hitakoutas and what he's capable of doing, plays with terrific balance around the rim, crafty finisher, and he protects the rim on the other side of the ball. He is really creative, and I'm a big fan of the Young Greeks game. And on the other side of the ball, Chris Mack has a stud in Ante Brzovic. Top 10 in the CAA in points, rebounds, and assists. So creative in what he's capable of doing. Behind the back passes, sure. Scoring in the post, forget about it. This man is a bucket, and the Cougars love to feature him throughout the course of the game.
If you like big men, you've come to the right place. If you like a little bit of tempo, we'll have that too in this matchup. Cougars and Aggies, CAA action next. Ball between North Carolina A&T and Charleston in CAA action, and the Aggies are short-handed. Ryan Forrest and Landon Glassberg, their top two scorers, along with Julius Reese. They were suspended last Thursday for violating well-established team rules. So the Aggies short-handed as we turn to our starting lineups, and we talked about the matchup in the post. Watch out for Jonathan Lamote, the sophomore guard, coming off a 20-point showing. On the other side for Charleston, Terrence Oglesby, as much as C.J. Fulton's the distributor, Darian Boyd has been on fire as of late. He's combined for 46 points in his last 2 games.
They call him Debo, and for good reason. A stocky-bodied off guard. He'll play some points, sure, but the Lipscomb transfer is terrific in so many different areas of the game. I'm excited about seeing him play in person because his film pops from a scoring perspective.
Our officials, Ron Groover, A.J. Desai, Kellen Milliner. Charleston in the home whites, the Aggies in the navy blue, the Cougars. An important game for them to get right and try to bounce back if you're going to stay in the top of the CAA, which is loaded with strong, competitive teams. The Aggies go right inside in the opening possession to Ogletree as it's out to Lamont. Shot clock at 10. Down to 7 on the drive. That's laid up and in. Tough finish for Hitakoutas.
That's a big-time move by Hitakoutas. You see his versatility, able to put it on the deck from the perimeter. I love that matchup. Lazar Djokovic, a transfer who's very talented. Watch your head, John Fanta.
Ooh.
My goodness.
Lazar Djokovic says hello. What do you like about him, Tio?
I think his length, his athleticism is on display here early. A really talented player, probably the most talented player on this team physically. And you see it here in the early going.
He's a sophomore from Serbia, transferred from Xavier. Backdoor again for Hitakoutas. Hitakoutas with 6 on the shot clock, trying to take Djokovic on, and Djokovic with a stop and a rebound.
You'll notice right away, John, both big guys for Charleston can handle it on the perimeter, and Darian Boyd He can shoot it from the perimeter, but they're going to function a lot in 5-out scenarios. Let those big players find ways to be creative on the perimeter as well. Really talented guys.
Boyd is a flamethrower, close to 40% from three on the season, right now at 38.9, and he has really been heating up for this Charleston team, which is also shorthanded. Missing Daywell Tavares, missing A.J. Smith. They've been dealt a tough hand, Terrence, but they are forging on, and Chris Mack has said it as Djokovic turns it over. We have to figure out a way to forge on with Boyd.
Absolutely, and Darian Boyd, you see his ability to knock down shots from the perimeter early in this game. The lefty, the stroke is pure, really nice player. And over his last 3 games, John, 18.7 points a game and 41% from 3. He is finding his groove at the right time of the season.
He's coming off a significant injury, too, transfer from Lipscomb. Chris Mack says he plays with such pride. He cares about everything he does. Ogletree over to the right wing. Another drive for Hidakudis with the left hand, can't finish. Djokovic defending him, and T.O. defending him well.
Absolutely, he is using his length. And one thing to keep an eye on, we don't see many teams play 2 bigs. Today, Monte Ross, he has to play 2 bigs. And we talked about of the European variety, both front courts. We have Serbia, Croatia, Greece, everywhere represented today. The Baltic boys for both teams, are going to play a big part. Nice pass.
Backdoor to Boyd. It was a beautiful delivery from Fulton. Fulton already with 2 assists. That's what makes him so special. Leader in the country in assist-to-turnover ratio over Ryan Nembhard of Gonzaga as that 3 goes out of the hands of Lamoth. On the other end, they don't stop. That 3's good for Eustace Stonkus, and T.O., when we think upside, Stonkus fits the bill.
Absolutely. You look at his size at about 6'5", 6'6", strong-body Lithuanian. Still learning English. Came on his visit, John, and didn't speak a word of English. Neither did his parents. They were Google translating him through his official visit, and now he's on the break.
He's from Lithuania. He's got serious game. Eustace Stonkus, the freshman.
I love the natural tools, John. The size, the physicality, much bigger than typical freshmen in the CAA.
Pull-up 3 for Lamoth. Short on this one. Offensive rebound. Hidakudis at the top of the charts in rebounding in the CAA with Berzovic. Tremendous battle of the bigs tonight. Hidakudis can't hit. Gets it back. How about a third effort? That's Hidakudis. Relentless. And Djokovic down on the floor. He will get tended to here as we've got a timeout at TD Arena. And we hope that Djokovic, for this Charleston team, which is already shorthanded, we hope that he is all right. Eustace Stonkus, America. Learn the name. This coaching staff of Charleston just loves his ability. A drive and a finish for the Cougars. And college basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Old Trapper Beef Jerky. 12, North Carolina A&T 7 early on at the home of the Cougars, TD Arena. This week, North Carolina A&T was reported to be one of 3 schools whose games were flagged for unusual gambling activity. According to an ESPN report, bets placed against North Carolina A&T in games this season were linked to a gambling ring currently under federal investigation for its role to 2 NBA betting cases. A&T officials and the NCAA have declined to comment on the reported investigation. John Fanta, Terrence Oglesby with you. Charleston up by 5 early, and T.O., the Cougars have been perfect.
Well, they've been terrific. Acting in transition, finding easy looks in the half court. There's always another option whenever you play for Chris Mack or watch his teams play. He sets his guys up, and there's constant movement, and it helps when you have a big guy like Ante Berzovic not able to convert there.
What have you made of the start for North Carolina A&T?
I think they need to move the ball quicker. It seems like there's a half-second delay from when the ball needs to get out of their hands and when the decision is made. Exhibit A, it takes a second, but Lamoth, he can fix it in a heartbeat. But if you're Charleston, John Fanta, you have to finish possessions because you're having success out in transition. Finish those possessions and get out and run.
Lamoth, a double-figure score, kick out to the corner for three. They're getting some looks, just not converting as it'll go back to the Cougars. And we head to Terrence Oglesby's keys to the game.
Well, a couple of things, John. If you're A&T, you got to limit the easy ones. And what I mean by that is you got to get back in transition. No home run plays where you get out and get easy layups for Charleston. And if you're Charleston, guard the three-point line. You've seen it early in this game. Jonathan Lamoth looking for his shot. And if they hit a couple, they can find a rhythm. Guard the three-point line because I think your interior is going to be able to take care of business.
Fulton with the catch, cannot hit. And a rebound to A&T, to your point. They average 7 made threes per game, but Lamoth is going to get more shots with them shorthanded as North Carolina A&T is down 6 scholarship players.
Lamoth, a really talented athlete. An excellent pass by Hidekutis.
To Ogletree, who laces it up.
The South Plains College transfer. He's got some athletic ability, John. You should have seen him in shoot-around. A lot of between-the-legs dunks happening for a while. I like the aggression right there. But the ball goes inside for A&T. Charleston swarms, and as a result, you're going to be able to find shooters on the perimeter. We talked about guarding the three-point line. Ogletree lines up on the opposite 45. That's a bucket. That ball gets in the paint. You have to be able to guard them in isolation because if you help too much, that's where A&T can find their rhythm on offense.
Bryson Ogletree able to connect, and now we turn to the senior, the CAA preseason player of the year, Ante Brzovic. And think about this, Terrence, 7 players representing 6 different countries, 5 of the 8 underclassmen from overseas. And I think about it, T.O., as much as Charleston recruits internationally, where else would you rather be than Charleston, South Carolina for your education in college basketball?
Oh, there's no question. The food is phenomenal. The beach is right down the road and one of the coolest cities you'll ever be to. I love this state. And one more thing, I like the variability that Charleston's playing with right now. Switching to a 2-3 zone, and they get a good stop. You have to keep A&T off balance.
Chris Mack used his zone defense to make the Elite 8 years ago. Darian Boyd. Boyd around the horn. Tough shot. He's short. Well defended, but tapped out to Brzovic, and Ante hits.
Such soft hands does Brzovic have and you look at why he came back to Charleston. Coaching change. Chris Mack has had success with big players like him. But I think the opportunity to play more minutes. Chris Mack said, hey, if there's not 5 in, 5 out, we're going to let you go. And here's the thing. You are able to pad those stats a little bit. He's very much in line for Conference Player of the Year. We'll see if it continues, but I love his versatility.
After Hidekutis hits, that 3 off as Joel Kirkic has checked in. Sophomore shows some strides in the loss to William & Mary on Monday night. A rocking Kaplan Arena on Monday that the Tribe had, and they outlasted the Cougars. That is a vicious rejection by Jones. Brzovic.
I love it, Elijah Jones. John, Hidekutis is everywhere on the floor. Hasn't played very long yet, but you look at it already. 6 points, 5 boards.
Boyd with an air ball. Saved, and the Aggies have it.
Sloppy start. I think for both teams, you want that ball popping around the perimeter and guys ready to shoot it. I thought Charleston started out really well before that first media, really struggling to regain the rhythm that they had.
That's a tough shot, and Hidekutis is off this time, and here comes Fulton. C.J. Fulton, he is the Charleston mailman. Already 3 assists tonight. Brzovic says, why not?
Talk about Fulton leads the country in assist-to-turnover rate. So safe with the basketball. Coach's kid from Ireland. We talk about international flair. Really nice player from Belfast.
12 on the shot clock. They go in the elbow. That's how you beat the zone, and they do. McKee.
Jalal Mackay, this guy can get hot in a hurry. Had a couple of games last year with 4 and 5 threes. Young man's talented.
Jalal Mackay step into the elbow and knocking it down for the Aggies. But Hida Kudus, learn this name because he is a stud. Nikos Hida Kudus with a couple early buckets. Sharp start for the Aggies. You're watching college basketball on CBS Sports Network, presented by Old Trapper Beef Jerky.
What's your beef? And by AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
The Charleston Cougars winning the 2023 and 24 CAA Tournament Championships. The only team to win 3 straight. You'd have to go back to the days of the Admiral, David Robinson, and Navy when they did in 85 to 87. And the CAA Tournament starts March 7th at the Entertainment and Sports Arena in Washington, D.C. We'll have the semis and the championship game on CBS Sports Network. As Terrence Oglesby, think about this. The all-time win percentages in college basketball. Charleston's 5th.
It's amazing, really, and you see the names above them. I think that's pretty good, John. I'm not quite sure, but I think throughout the course of history here in Charleston, whether it's John Kress, whether it's some of these other coaches that have been here, Pat Kelsey now at Louisville, they've done a fantastic job. And hey, throw Bobby Crimmins in there as well. The hiring process here in Charleston has been elite. And the thing is they're just going to keep winning because, one, the campus is terrific, and 2, people want to come here to play because they love basketball, and they're not competing with football either. I look at that as a plus whenever you're recruiting young men.
Pat Kelsey now doing a tremendous job at Louisville with Rain Smith and James Scott joining him. Now Chris Mack, a proven winner, an NCAA tournament coach, taking this job, getting back on the sidelines as that one falls in for Stonkus.
Love Stonkus. So far, knockdown shots, got to the rim, creative finisher, and you see again the changing defenses of Charleston and what Chris Mack likes to do. Showed 2-3 earlier, now in a 1-3-1 with Djokovic in the middle.
Lamoth kicks, corner 3 is good. It's Mackay.
Excellent possession for A&T, John. That ball popped around the perimeter. They attacked the elbows, and as a result, the defense collapses. And Mackay, I'm telling you, John, the young man can get hot in a hurry. That's dangerous if you're a Cougars fan.
Djokovic can't hit. Terrence, how about the way? As we'll get a tie up here, it'll stay with the Cougars. But this A&T team trying to find their first win in conference play. They've certainly gotten off to a nice start.
Today, yeah, they have. But I think for the conference season, it's been a struggle. And I talked to Monty Ross today at Shoot Around, John, and the one thing he emphasized to me was I got to get the right guys in the locker room. That is number 1 on my list. And then I think we're going to be able to add pieces as the season goes along. But I feel like I have the right crew now. And that spoke volumes to me because in year 2, you're looking to change the culture of things. Sometimes that's addition by subtraction.
Jole Kirkic burying the triple. That's a deep 3. It's long. And the rebound of the Cougars after Lamoth misses.
John, you and I talked about how many bodies the A&T's missing. Well, the same is true for Charleston. Chris Mack said, you know, hey, look, I'm going to play some zone. We're going to mix it up a little bit just to kind of save some bodies. This is a 40-minute game, and if you only have X amount of players, sometimes it can be tough. Look at Stonkus.
Stonkus showing his handle. Off the window, can't hit offensive rebound. Stonkus. He's off. Now you think about it, Terrence, when we talk about Charleston, Chris Harriman also coming over from St. Louis. As you see North Carolina A&T, and defensively it's been a tough go. That one out of control, but Harriman able to bring a couple kids with him from St. Louis. They love Stonkus' potential. They saw Stonkus out in Lithuania shooting overseas at an event, and Terrence, they said every time he shot the ball it was going in. They just loved him.
Well, I think one thing you look at when you're evaluating shooters, John, how it comes off their hands. And he played for BC's Žalgiris, which is one of the better youth programs in Lithuania. And you and I both know that country's full of hoopers, and they take pride in their basketball. And he's just next in line for somebody who's going to make some big-time shots.
A drive and a foul as Jones was hit on the take. And he will go in the line after these messages. Charleston and A&T in a 1-point game. College basketball on CBS Sports Network is presented by Old Trapper Beef Jerky. Cougars mascot is doing the Macarena. Love to see that. As tomorrow night at 9 Eastern time, we've got college hockey for you, and a good one. Reigning NCHC champions number 6 Denver takes on number 12 Arizona State right here on CBS Sports Network. Love mascots.
Hey, yeah, look at this mascot. It's the only mascot in the country with a comb over. This is unbelievable. And he fits Charleston so well. My man's getting busy. And here's the thing. Charleston is finding good shots. They're playing good ball, but you see it at the bottom. They started out great. They haven't been able to knock down shots since. A lot of reason to dance. Eventually, you're going to have to knock down some shots, but Chris Mack has to be pleased with how they're sharing and moving the basketball. And look at this, a lot of dance moves here. John Fanta, Charleston is a buzz.
It sure is. Terrific city. By the way, only mascot with a comb over. You sound jealous.
Oh, man, I'll tell you this. Guys will take shots at you from 5 states away. It's amazing.
Elijah Jones.
But I absolutely am jealous. But hey, it's been physical in the front court, John. Time after time, we're just seeing bodies hit the deck inside the painted area.
Well, you just talked about the quality of shot for Charleston. But here's the thing, Terrence. This A&T team, they've shot 4 of 7 from downtown. That was one of your biggest keys to this game.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. It's going to allow for A&T to find some shots when they're going up against some of these different zones. We've seen a 1-3-1. We've seen a 2-3. I actually thought they were guarding well in man, but trying to save some bodies, as that's a big-time move by Kalliansis.
Sure
big
is.
Greek.
Stratos Kalliansis. High-level game from Greece.
Big body.
As the answer's good for Brzovic. He just comes punching right back.
So calm. Calm, cool, and collected. I think that's the 3 words for him. Anytime he gets the ball inside of 15 feet, he's never in a rush. Just finds ways to be effective.
Charleston back in this zone defense, and the Aggies break right through. Ida Kudus, who's still in there with 2 fouls. He's got 8. Fulton can't answer.
A&T really playing with a lot of confidence right now. Cam Shell, point guard number 3, organizing his troops, setting guys up. I mean, doesn't average a lot of points, John, but understands his role. I'm a big fan of this young man's game. He's able to knock this one through. Charleston needs to figure some things out defensively.
Camion Shell from downtown, the 5th 3 for the Aggies. He's from Winston-Salem, coming in from Coffeyville. It'll go back to A&T.
And I like the ball popping around the perimeter. And Cam Shell, you see the step-up ball screen, and then Shell just steps behind and knocks it through. And look, John, he's an older player, a junior, and Winston-Salem, they produce ball players as well, but they are shooting the ball terrific from beyond the arc and creating easy opportunities. And you see right now, Chris Mack jumping back into man-to-man. I thought they defended well in the early going. I think they stay here.
Another deep 3, this one short, but a foul on Djokovic on the box out.
Say this, John, it has been physical inside of about 10, 12 feet. I'm not sure I fully agree with that call. Djokovic going to have to take a seat, and that hurts because his length and athleticism really help on the defensive side of the floor. We're going to be able to take another look at it. Ball goes up. There's not a lot there, Mr. Fanta. Not a lot there.
Well, enough for a whistle with the officials. Djokovic now taking a seat with 2 fouls. He's committed 2 of now the 3 as Stonkus commits 1. And the other thing about it is, Terrence, I thought it was interesting. You said at shoot-around today, you were impressed by the Aggies' body language.
It was amazing. And sometimes whenever you lose so many pieces so quickly, it can get difficult. This was an energetic group, a confident group. It was kind of wild to see considering they're 0-10 in league, but still carrying on this attitude.
Stonkus off the turnover. Dynamic freshman to Brzovic. And Charleston 3 of 11 from downtown.
And the shots haven't been bad, John. I think that's one thing. That's a terrific pass by Stonkus. But you see A&T really try to battle in. They haven't won in more than a calendar year. But playing with confidence here in the early part of this game.
In league play, that drought, can they try to end it? And if they did tonight, that would be a shocker in this league. Offensive foul.
And Ron Groover, who's one of the best officials in the NCAA, ref the Final Four. He's a big-time guy. Calls the offensive foul here, and that's tough for Cam Shell because he swims through trying to make the pass and gets called for the offensive foul.
Think about it. What does this game mean for Charleston? Well, they're 7-3 in the league, and now you're tied for 4th place with Campbell, Terrence. This is a slot where you have to take care of business in that fight to get the double bye in the conference tournament. Brzovic foul. So let's take a look at it. Now, Terrence, I got to get your reaction on this as we take a look at the standings, starting a busy night and weekend around this league. How about the job Brian Earl is doing at William & Mary?
It's unbelievable, really. He comes in, William & Mary, and here's the thing, John. He kept a lot of the same players. So as you look at William & Mary and their early success, a lot has changed. They're playing with a different kind of pace, fast, pressure. Turned William & Mary into a tough out no matter the day. 8-2 in league. Brian Earl's got to be the front runner for Coach of the Year in this league, wouldn't you say?
I think it's between him right now and Kevin McGee, and Campbell starting to emerge. Campbell's won 5 in a row. UNCW with 6 in a row. Towson with 8 in a row. We'll tell you a little bit more about the Fighting Camels later on in the show. But the point is, Terrence, this league, as Brzovic couldn't hit either free throw, it's just so highly competitive. Every single night, there's drama.
Absolutely, there's right. And I think there was a little bit of an adjustment. And that's a 10-second violation, John. So let me explain this real quick. They're trying to play quickly, and Charleston extended their pressure out. But once the ball is in the air and it's traveled past half court, that half court 10 seconds isn't over until the ball is caught on the other side. So they did get it past the half line, but it doesn't matter since the player hadn't caught it until the 19-second mark on the shot clock.
Great explanation by Terrence Oglesby. That's laid in by Jones, his first points.
I love the extending of pressure by Charleston. I thought A&T has gotten a little bit too comfortable, John, in what they've been doing offensively because of these zones where Charleston's had to sit back a little bit. Now you're trying to speed up the Aggies.
Aggies were enjoying a Charleston sunset. Charleston trying to apply some pressure. A stop here, although they did get an open look, but here comes Fulton. Fulton delivers to Stonkus. Out of control. A pair of top 31 teams in KenPom tempo. So speed, we've got it for you tonight, and we have a bit of a surprise here late in this first half with North Carolina A&T at 19 on the year, up by 2. Deep 3, it's an air ball. A timeout in Charleston and a 2-point Aggies lead. At the half, we head back to our New York studio and join Adam Zucker, Roy Hibbert, Wally Zerbiak, and John Rothstein to preview tomorrow night's matchups, including a Big East showdown between number 12 St. John's and number 19 UConn. Coming up at 18 at the half, Mr. Pete Akutis, your table is ready.
He's pretty good, isn't he, John? I mean, his vision as a passer really stands out. And then once he gets in the lane, just so crafty around the rim, whether it's up and unders, finishing around with dunks with his strong hands. Really, really nice player. And we've had a treat so far today. The big Greek has a lot of game, and he's playing well so far.
Well, just the intensity that he plays with. When you talk with this coaching staff, Monte Ross says he came in as a freshman. He had some things to learn and figure out. He was in single digits. Think about this, Terrence. He's gone from a guy who's scoring around 7 points per game to a double-figure score. He's doubled his rebounding production. And he's taken on a leadership role for a team that's having a difficult season. And you know this, having been in so many locker rooms. It's the guys who fight through things that end up being leaders and end up being people that get respected.
Yeah, and not to mention he's coming over and he's going to school in a completely new country, different language. Takes the guy a second. Got to give my man a little grace, but at the same time, I think the biggest thing from a basketball perspective for a guy like Heath Kutas is the speed of the American game and the college game at that. There's a lot of error, sure, but the game is played so much faster. And to be honest with you, a little bit more hectic. A lot of American coaches are willing to live with a lot more mistakes, and as a result, the game ends up going so much faster.
The guy who went international for some time, Terrence Oglesby, played his college ball at Clemson. Elite sharpshooter tonight, my partner, Mr. Fulton, C.J. Fulton. He can shoot it too. Cougars lead.
How about we'll talk about a coach's kid. Mr. Fulton, big-time shot from the perimeter. So patient, understands where the defenders are. Really nice player.
His level of awareness off the charts, and recruited by Fran O'Hanlon originally at Lafayette. 4-minute drought for A&T. Can they break it? Corner three. It's long. Offensive rebound. Heath Kutas. Back doors left open. Cookies are served.
Yeah, they are. Jalal Mackay, excellent cut. Misses the shot in the corner. Doesn't give up on the play. Heath Kutas gets his hands on that basketball. Good things happen. It's happening all game, and it continues to do so.
Terrence, we talk about basketball magnets, guys that the ball seems to find them. How much is that a skill? How much is that just instinct? What would you say?
I think a lot of it's innate, John. I think that's a big thing. A lot of guys naturally have that ability. They just find where the action's at. And then when it comes to offensive rebounding in particular, a lot of guys just read the game so well and how the ball comes off the rim. I would throw Heath Kutas in that mix. He's going to have to find ways to muster up some energy right now because he looks visibly winded, and they don't have enough time for him to be all that tired. But you see Charleston, when they're out and running, they're pretty good. And this is excellent patience by Fulton. And then on the other side of the ball, Heath Kutas gets the offensive board and finds the cutting Mackay. You cannot give up on the play. If you're Charleston, you have to know where those guys are at.
A three is good. And again, Fulton. $12 on the shot clock. Ogletree. So he's hit the final minute of the half. Darian Boyd now with 4 assists to join Fulton after that dish. Shot clock at 4. Skip pass to the corner off the side of the backboard and picked up by Jones.
A nice play by Lamode. You got to be able to knock down some of those shots towards the end of the clock. Charleston really picking up their defense after the first 10 minutes of this first half, guarding at a much better rate.
Here's Boyd with 10 on the shot clock. Darian Boyd, 5 points, 4 assists. Stonka's teardrop. Got his own miss, could not hit. Scramble for it here with 15 seconds. A jump ball. It belongs to the Aggies.
And John, the Cougars are finding good shots. Eventually, you got to make some of these things. As Adam Comer comes into the game, a walk-on from Spartanburg, went to Broome High School. He's going to be relied on for some of these spot minutes, trying to make sure that they don't get more fouls. And the Cougars up to 14 seconds into half.
Why do 80%?
With the basketball, the half that they came out sharp. They've been right in it, and a very important possession. Not just 1-17, 2-40 under Coach Ross when trailing at the half, but 3-2 when leading at the half this season. So, Terrence, what are you drawing up here if you were Coach Ross?
I think first and foremost, you make sure you get the last shot of the half. Don't let Charleston get down and get one late. And I would look for Jalal Mackay or Lamoth to find something. Quick screen, and they're going to be able to pop out and find a look. Well,
Charleston has fouls to use. Jones uses the fourth. They still have 2 more to give. Do you continue to use them with 7 seconds?
Look for Lamoth to come off the screen here. Charleston was adamant about this play today. Shell's going to come back.
With 4, tough shot. It's short, 2 seconds. Fulton to beat the horn. And the Cougars lead by 2 at the break.
Terrific defensive possession to end this half. Charleston has to find some offensive rhythm and find out the answers at halftime because they just haven't made shots, John.
The Cougars in a gotta-have-it CAA game to stay near the top of the CAA standings. A&T upset-minded. AT&T at the half coming up from New York City. Well, you see St. Malachi's College out in Ireland. Well, CJ Fulton's got his friends here tonight who have traveled all the way from Ireland to watch him play and spend the weekend in Charleston. Frankly, Terrence Oglesby, I'm jealous.
Well, I'll say this about those guys. I'm not sure how sober they took their January, but they came in here. The energy is electric, especially from those 3. And CJ told me it would be that way. But we've had an entertaining game here. Shots falling for both sides and some defense that are mixing up and making the other team confused. It's been a fun game to watch so far, and A&T just hanging around on the road.
That's just it, Terrence. They were able to knock down 5 3-pointers, and they were able to get open looks early on in this game.
Absolutely they were, and you saw what A&T was capable of doing. I think Charleston switching defenses kind of messed with them a little bit. It allowed A&T to find their rhythm, but you still got to knock them down. But the defense for Charleston improved dramatically over the last 6 minutes of that first half. But when the ball was popping, the Aggies were shooting, and they were knocking them down at a high clip. But on the other end, they've had several guys play pretty well. They used to stop the Lithuanian freshman, so talented, big body, acts in transition, good looking stroke from 3. You can see the talent, it's evident, and he's going to score a lot of points in the Charleston jersey.
Well, the Cougars up by 2 as we turn to our stats. No free throws taken by the Aggies. What stands out to you, Terrence Oglesby?
Just how physical this game has been played without so many free throws being taken. So both teams big in the front court. It's been exceedingly physical. Who's going to knock down more shots from the perimeter? That's what it's looking like it's going to be this game. Charleston started off slow, finally gaining their rhythm, and the Aggies kind of the other way around. Started off strong and kind of petered off towards the end of the first half. They're going to have to play well over the first 4 minutes of this second half. It's going to be huge.
And can they continue to knock down some perimeter shots? Because we know Hida Kudus can get it done. And we know from Ireland can get it done. Playing some halftime games. Showing off his skill. Second half is ahead. Charleston, the Cougars up by 2 on North Carolina A&T with the second half about to begin. Well, how about those Towson Tigers as we go around the league? 8 straight wins. This is their longest streak in 8 years. Pat Scary's squad at the top of the league. They're in action right now at Stony Brook. 2-point game in the first half at 9-1. They lead the league. Let's keep the headlines moving to the Seahawks of UNCW. They've won 6 straight. They're up by 6 right now on Delaware in the first half, and they have scored the basketball at a high rate, averaging over 80 points per game on the season. We'll see them next Thursday when they host Charleston on CBS Sports Network. And last but not least, the Tribe. They own Williamsburg. They're 10-0 at home this season, Terrence Oglesby.
That's big-time stuff. Brian Earl has done a terrific job. He's changed the way they play. The Tribe, pressing, shooting threes, athletic, fun team to watch.
And they're at Drexel tonight as we take a look and revisit our Star Watch.
You see Nikos Hitikoutas, what he's capable of doing. 8 and 8 so far, and we're not even counting his assist. He has just been a play creator the entire game for this A&T team. And then Berzovic on the other side of that hasn't been featured as much. You look at what Charleston's done offensively. They're getting out, they're running, they're finding shots. But when the game slows down and it comes into crunch time, that's when you're going to see the best version of Berzovic and what he's capable of in the low post. But I'm telling you, John, these first 4 minutes of this second half, A&T has to play well, because if they don't, it could slip away from them on the road. And it all starts with that young man right there, Nikos Hitikoutas.
Hitikoutas leading these Aggies and really setting the tone early in this game. You think about it, they're winless in conference play and trying to get off the snide, but the sophomore from Greece, with this team down 6 scholarship players and their 2 leading scorers, fighting on and in this ball game. Coming around the horn is Boyd. Boyd gets downhill and hits.
Wow, I love that set coming out of the half, John. You set a cross screen for a post player, and then you see Boyd continue to move without the basketball. The ball goes in, the screens for the outside player work to perfection. Well done by Chris Mack and his staff.
Here's Shell. And then deflected by Fulton. Shot clock's at 6. Turnaround doesn't go.
And if I'm Cam Shell here in this second half, I'm going to be a little bit aggressive, trying to get into the paint and use my quickness advantage. Try to create for my teammates a little bit in the half court, especially when Charleston's in man-to-man.
Shot clock down to 12. And they turn it over right into the hands of Lamoth. Chris Mack does not like that. Lamoth, he can fly. He's got 8.
I love the defensive intensity for the Aggies here early, John. Getting out, pressuring the basketball. They needed a little bit of a break. They got a little winded at the end of the first half, but they got to guard that man, Mr. Berzovic.
Ante Berzovic. And to think, Terrence Oglesby, that 3 years ago he was at Division II Southeastern Oklahoma State and was told when he was coming to America, hey, you might be okay at D2, you might get a bit of a shot, but we don't know if you'll make it to D1, be a high-level player there. Well, he's been exceptional.
Well, whoever he's talking to is incorrect, but Charleston starting off nicely, getting Boyd on the outside. He gets ahead of steam, and that left hand, he's tough to defend. But A&T, physical defensively away from the ball, and then they get out and running, and Lamoth, Maryland transfer, big-time finish on the other side of the rim, uses the rim to protect from the shot blocker. Big-time play.
You think about it, Terrence, only 6 players for the Aggies. Credit to this team, the guys that they've had on the floor, for the way they're fighting through some difficult circumstances. A turnover up ahead. To the rim and slammed home. Stonkus.
Oh, Charleston getting out in transition, John. Defense out on the top by Brzovic, and that ignites the break. We're going to be able to take a look at it. Nice pass up, and then Stonkus. I'm not sure I'm willing to call that an all-out dunk, John. That might have been more dink than dunk. I need a little bit more power. I know he's capable.
Terrence, you have to think, right, that some tempo for Charleston. In the first half, it felt like they were stuck in neutral for a good portion of it, that maybe that could get this building lively and could get them going.
I really do think that's the case, but you see the pace that they're playing with in the half court so far, John. They're just not making shots. Darian Boyd comes off, gets an easy look, and then just a little bit too rushed. And I'm not sure I agree with that call. I am right behind where Lamoth drove to the rim. Djokovic, I thought he did a nice job of keeping his distance. Lamoth bailed out a little bit on that one.
Well, it means Jonathan Lamoth is at the free throw line.
You see the drive? There's not a lot there, John. And I love Lamoth's aggressiveness, don't get me wrong, but you got to draw into the defender's body, especially when you have a leg up. Lamoth lucky that he's bailed out on that one. And hey, here's the thing about him. He's a talented young player. He's from Baltimore. He's averaging 11 and a half points a game. He does a lot of nice things. He rebounds. He creates plays for his teammates. I'm a fan of his game, but it's his overall impact for A&T. And with some guys out, he's been featured more heavily, and rightfully so.
Was recruited by Kevin Willard and started at Maryland for his college career last year. Now transferring and getting more time and an increased role at A&T. Majoring in business management, and in his free time, this is really cool, he loves to coach younger kids. Give back to basketball.
Love it.
Brzovic.
And Hitakoutas, his physicality, John, when playing in the post, every screen that they set for Brzovic is being met with a body, a forearm to the chest. Nothing has been easy as far as entering the ball in to Ante Brzovic. That's one of the reasons you haven't seen such a big game from him so far.
4 on the shot clock. It's down to 2. Fulton, it's at 1. Has to heave a prayer. And that's a really nice defensive possession by the Aggies.
Really well done. Physical throughout the entire 30 seconds. As Jonathan Lamoth, he's going to jog it off. I think he took a shot to the midsection, John, but I can really appreciate A&T's toughness on the defensive end. Look, they're dealing with a lot of players right now out of the lineup, and I saw it today in their shoot-around. The energy, the enthusiasm, the attention to detail, and there weren't that many guys here. That was the crazy part that stood out to me. Only 8 guys participated. They had to throw some coaches in the live scout.
A scramble here, and the Cougars come out with it. That's down 6 scholarship players. You've only got 8, and that makes it tougher to simulate things, but a turnover by Charleston. They have fought these Aggies, and that's laid up and in by Hitakoutas.
Been these extra possessions created. Charleston has been sloppy in the open floor. Gonna have to clean it up. And the worst thing you can do for a team that has struggled all season long is to give them that glimmer of hope. And right now, A&T has it.
Stonkus answers. Eustace Stonkus has a dozen.
Stonkus has played well today. His ability to knock down shots from the perimeter. And one small thing, Ante Brzovic doing a nice job holding off, waiting for the double team to come, doing a nice job of drawing 2 and then finding Stonkus out of there.
4 shy of his career high. Combined 25 in the last 2 games. Backdoor left open, laid up and in by Mackay, who's got 9. Fulton. He's short. Tapped out to Brzovic. Fulton, teardrop, short again. Aggies have it, down by 3. Throw out the records.
The defensive effort, John, really stands out for A&T. They are battling on every single possession. My question is, are they going to be able to keep it up and not get fatigued throughout the course of the whole game?
Hida Kudus. Hida Kudus cannot hit Brzovic with the rebound. And a foul given by A&T. We've got a timeout. We've got a 3-point game. It's another night in the CAA. Brzovic on the back down. Stonkus, yes sir. Aggies answering. That's a nice backdoor to Mackay, who's been the guy. And college basketball on CBS Sports Network is presented by
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Under Armour.
Charleston, South Carolina is one of the gems of the United States. Just a tremendous area of our country. And the Cougars up by 3 on North Carolina A&T, and they are guided by the mailman from Ireland, CJ Fulton.
Well, there's a lot of different ways to impact the game of basketball, John, as you know, but one of those is creating looks for teammates, and that's where Fulton is spectacular. And not only that, whenever you reward your guys so often, you got to be rewarded yourself. He can knock down threes as well, but his impact, John, on this game is creating looks for his teammate. You see it tonight, 6 assists to 1 turnover, but this is what he does. He leads the country in assist-to-turnover ratio. It's been that way for the past couple of seasons. This guy is a coach's kid. That much is obvious, and just such a good feel for the game and play creation for his teammates. But he's going to have to figure something out. Charleston's still sloppy with that basketball.
CJ's great-grandfather represented Great Britain at the 1936 Olympics in Berlin. The same games where Jesse Owens competed for the United States and won 4 gold medals. This kid has won 9 All-Ireland national championships. Kick to the corner, the 3 is short, and now here come the Cougars. And a foul. That'll send Jones to the line.
You know what's been so impressive about this game so far, John, is Charleston extends their pressure out. You get to see the 4-man, Hida Kudus, break pressure, find a wide-open shot for Jalal Mackay, just not able to finish it. Brzovic gets the rebound, and then you have another 5-man leading the break for Charleston. So we talk about the modern ways of the college game and basketball in general. It's big men that can function out on the perimeter and help you handle pressure when need be. Today has been a perfect example for both teams, and they both have that weapon in their arsenal. Just so happens that both of them are coming from Europe as well.
Chris Mack has turned back at the table after we've got a whistle. A violation on Brzovic. That gives the Aggies the ball back. That's a nice save. Layup doesn't go, but we get another foul, and that all started with the hustle of Joel Kirkic.
I think Kirkic is going to be a really nice player. Comes over from Serbia, can really, really shoot the basketball, but now trying to make his impact felt on the defensive end. And we talk about freshmen all the time, trying to get more minutes. What's one of the ways you can do that? Start being consistent on the defensive end, and the coaches are going to trust you. Offense is always going to come, especially if you have some of those tools. Make sure you guard on the other end of the floor, and that's coming from a guy, John, that never defended. So I'm not really sure how I should continue to explain this. And you see, bucket, right back to pressure for Charleston. I think this is something that could turn the game on its head.
Play with that Dalton Bolin energy. Cougar fans can appreciate that, and they can appreciate Ben Burnham and all the pieces that built something special. Rain Smith as well here in Charleston. Turnover. They're 11. Corner 3, Kirkic. Ring it up. Joel Kirkic.
They need a spark from the perimeter. It's been up and down so far, but Kirkic, the man can score. The Serbian from deep, we all know better.
Timeout, A&T. Charleston up by 9. Their largest lead of the night. A&T squad back on the road as they take on Campbell Monday at 8 Eastern, right here on CBS Sports Network. The Fighting Camels, one of the best stories in the conference. They've won 5 in a row. Kobe Dugan averaging close to 20 in CAA play, and they can light it up from downtown, Theo.
They certainly can, and Kobe Dugan went for more than 30 against North Carolina earlier this year. The guy can score against anybody, and they have a really good lead guard in Jason Sinani. I'm a big fan, and that guy's not bad either. I saw Joe D'Antonio before the game, really enthusiastic about this conference that continues to grow and continue to go in a positive direction. One of my favorites in the business.
Joe D'Antonio, Joey D, in his 9th year as CAA commissioner. His practice with the Commissioner Initiative, in which he participates in on-campus workouts with CAA championship teams, has become extremely popular on social media. Joey D's brand is skyrocketing. You won't meet a conference commissioner that's practicing with teams. 4 on the shot clock. That 3 is good, and it was much needed for the Aggies. Lamoth.
It certainly was. Lamoth, after a 2.5-minute scoring drought. They better play some defense, though, John Fanta. Got to leave that guy open. Brzovic,
who's got a dozen on the night to match Stonkus, and this pressure has changed the game.
A&T against pressure has unraveled, and this is where you need some of your older players like Cam Shell to step to the forefront and organize your troops before inbounding this ball. Let that ball bounce. Figure your press offense out. Don't be in such a rush to get the ball out and going.
Bolden, Jones, Stonkus, Brzovic, Kirkic on the floor for Charleston. This is their action, Terrence. They go to Brzovic on an island. On Tays Island.
Ante's Island is full of knuckleballs, that's for sure. There was no backspin on that shot. Doesn't matter. 6'10", can see over the top. And I'm starting to get curious when Monty Ross is going to call a timeout and get these guys organized against pressure. But you got to put a hand up right there if you're Kaliansis, because Brzovic can rise up over the top, knock down shots. They clear the whole side of the floor. So the rotations to help are very long. You have to guard one-on-one if you're going to beat this Charleston team.
Charleston with 16 points off turnovers.
And once again, Hitakutis doing a nice job breaking pressure, keeping his head up, finding his teammate.
8 on the shot clock. Give and a foul on the take by Kalianis.
And Djokovic gets caught a little bit too high when trying to cover the ball screen. Doing a nice job defensively up towards the half-court line. And here's the thing, if you fight pressure with pressure, meaning if you try to dribble around a double team, not a lot of good things happen. But if you're willing to get rid of the basketball, you're going to find opportunities. And Kaliansis, nice drive to the rim, keeps the ball high. You see the big fella at the free throw line.
Efstratios Kaliansis, redshirt freshman from Mytilene, Greece. And they love the potential that he possesses. Tonight he's been relatively quiet, but he's growing game by game, Terrence Oglesby.
He certainly is, and I think the thing that sticks out more than anything is just the size and what he's able to bring from that point of view. And a lot of times you see a big fella and you're like, oh, he only has 3 rebounds. Well, he's the guy boxing out. Everybody else is going to get those rebounds. You need that impact and that physicality inside of 10 feet, and he's brought that today.
Less than 12 to go. Charleston trying to bounce back from the 15-point defeat to William & Mary Monday. Djokovic hits.
Lazar Djokovic, we talk about natural tools and ability. His quick feet, his bounce off the floor. And then his ability to extend and elevate over top the defense is something you don't see all that often.
The Cougars 7-3 in the CAA, tied up with Campbell. Towson at the top of the league. That three is short. Rebound by Kaliansis, and he's fouled again, taking us to a timeout. Lazar Djokovic bringing the muscle, bringing some versatility. These Cougars are up 11. College basketball on CBS Sports Network is presented by Old. Tonight's game summary brought to you by AT&T. Terrence Oglesby, take it away.
And as you see, at first glance, game's been played pretty evenly. But what's happened is Charleston has been able to force some turnovers and get out in transition and score. A&T in the second half has really struggled with pressure. And as you see, 6 turnovers in the second half, points off turnovers. Charleston's gotten 10 of those here in a second. Playing well when they've switched their defense and extended out their pressure. That guy likes it as well.
We may need a dance-off in Charleston. This guy, he's got a shirt that I believe says he's the pickle man. And a pickle necklace. All right.
That is not a fake pickle. That is a real pickle.
Oh, very dill of you.
He's a big deal.
Of all the things in college basketball that we've seen, I have never seen a pickle man.
Unbelievable.
Welcome to college basketball. That is why on Monday night, Terrence got to be in Williamsburg for William and Mary and Charleston. Now tonight, Charleston's formed a great home court. It's so much fun to see different communities this time of year and packed houses, student sections, and all the characters on the sidelines.
No question.
Fans are the best. Passionate. Fans like that, the best. Boyd, corner, short. And the Aggies now down by 9. What do they need to do to climb back in?
I think they just hang on to the ball and get quality looks on every possession. You can't turn the basketball over if you're A&T because you're getting good looks and you're hitting shots. It's just been a bit of a struggle not turning the basketball over. But, hey, John, you look at get the ball to Hitakutas because the better he does, the better this A&T team does. He is such a tough cover, and he puts his head down and changes directions as well as anybody in this league.
Foul there on Kirkic. So for A&T, a crucial swing here after they've fallen behind by 9. Can they answer? That's a good way to start. It's Ogletree.
It's one thing that can happen. A little flex cut. Ogletree gets wide open. Communication's got to be better on the defensive end for the Cougars.
Into Brzovic. Brzovic, a bowling ball when he gets deep, but that's pretty good defense by Hitakutas. That three is off.
I didn't like that shot by Kirkic. He needs to stay out of the way, whenever you have the ball down to Brzovic on the paint, but that's a freshman mistake going to ball side when you have a live dribble. That can't happen, and that's something he'll learn. But another good defensive possession, and Lamoth, watch out.
Lamoth, he wanted to bring the house down, and he is fouled.
That's a good call, and I like the fact that Djokovic came over to contest, but if you're going to do so, use your size and athleticism to jump straight up and down. And I don't think this is a huge, I think Lamoth is cramping, but nice split right here. You see the ability. I mean, he really has it there and might have gotten away with a little bit of push off, but you see this is a left calf cramp. That is not comfortable. He needs to go talk to our guy, the pickle man. If he goes and gets some pickle juice from the pickle man, there's no more cramps, John.
Jonathan Lamoth getting helped up here, and we're talking about an Aggies team that is already without their top scorers in Landon Glasper and Ryan Forrest and Julius Reese as well. All three of them suspended for a violation of team well-established rules. You've only played 6 players tonight, so that leaves you with 5 guys who have played in this game. They have 2 others that have not appeared in the game, but this is obviously tough circumstances if Lamoth has to miss any further time.
Okay, so John, Lamoth goes out. That means Chris Mack and the Charleston staff gets to pick the free throw shooter. Pete Kutas steps to the line, and on the season, a 47% free throw shooter, and it looks like they picked the right man.
Well, that's just the remarkable thing. One of the rare players in the sport that has a better field goal percentage on the season than free throw percentage. 56% from the floor, 47% from the line. It's just been a cursed area for him, and he's 0 for 2 here. Wow.
And I think we look at the depth of A&T with so many guys missing. They haven't played many players today. And as a result, now you start to see the fatigue set in. Only 6 guys for A&T have seen minutes. Makes it really hard.
And Lamoth now out. As that turnaround goes for Berzovic, he has 16. Djokovic and Jones each with 4 fouls for Charleston. That's the one issue for the Cougars. They're at 18 fouls. As Kaliantzis will go in the line.
And on the other end of the floor, John, Ante Berzovic, so good. And this is Mikan-esque. Drop step, over the top, reading the defense. They're trying to take away the middle. No help baseline. Lefty hook. That's a big-time move.
Stratos Kaliantzis, 9.6 rebounds against Towson 2 weeks ago. As we look at Berzovic, 10 in the second half.
Been featured more heavily here in this second half, especially in the half court, John. And they're getting out of his way and doing a nice job of spacing the court and giving him room to operate. And this has been a day where Charleston, they've shot it okay from 3, but it hasn't been their typical lights out performance from beyond the arc.
No, 7 of 20 from downtown. Djokovic in the game with 4 fouls. Back into Berzovic. Ante Berzovic is a beast. 18.
Ridiculous. Put me on the left block, I'm going left hand. Right block, the other way. So difficult to defend.
Total stud. Ogletree. An air ball. And the Cougars with a 10-point lead, and they are just hopping on the Ante train.
It's easy to do. All aboard the Ante train. Possession ago, went left hand, no help baseline. This time I'll go right hand. Ambidextrous, if you will. The big Croatian, there's a reason he's a front runner for CAA Player of the Year.
A 10-point Charleston lead. The Cougars entering the night at 7-3 in the CAA, trying to get their 8th win. Darian Boyd can't hit. Djokovic with the offensive rebound, and that's a bad pass. Shell off the dribble, knocks it down.
It's a nice move, but on the other end of the floor, Djokovic, he's got a lot of natural talent, but he's very much still figuring it out, especially in the passing lanes.
Feed Berzovic. And right now, they don't have an answer for him.
So tough to defend. He can face you up. He can attack. Just such a nice player. 18 points, 6 boards. It's the consistency in his approach, too. And I think he's got counters on top of counters on top of counters. You take away the middle, he's going baseline. He can finish holding the ball away. He can finish with the right hand, the left. And it's always more difficult to defend left-handed players. But at the same time, left-handed players typically are much more left-handed than right-handers are right-handed. That might sound like a wordy explanation, but his ability to attack on both sides of the rim is what makes him so dangerous, not just in CAA play, but potentially in postseason play as well.
He's from Croatia and started his college career at Southeastern Oklahoma State in the Great American Conference at the Division II level. Averaged 18-11, wanted to level up. Comes to Charleston. He helped the Cougars his first year with the program win the Charleston Classic. Hit a huge shot against Virginia Tech. Hit a double overtime buzzer beater this season against Florida Atlantic. He has just had an amazing career. Back-to-back missed threes for the Aggies, And the Cougars with a double-digit lead have it. Three short for Fulton. Shell rings it up.
The man loves the left wing, John. Cam Shell, the leader of this team, knocked down a couple of shots over the last few possessions. They need him to get hot in a hurry.
Damian Shell, who comes over from Coffeyville, his previous stop, leveling up to D1 and performing as we get a foul on the Aggies.
Hey, John, you know what I love about Charleston? The personalities, the eccentricity, the town. But you know what also I enjoy? The Pickle Man is here at TD Arena. We got more after the break.
Cougars up by 7 on North Carolina A&T, and it's time now to reveal tonight's Old Trapper Beef Jerky Player of the Game.
John Fanta, this is an easy one. Ante Brzovic, put it on repeat. He has been terrific all season long, and nothing has changed today. 8 for 12 from the field. Just a terrific all-around player. Scores in a multitude of ways. In a tough cover for anybody he plays against. 20-6. That's routine for this man at this point.
How about the fact that he stayed the course in Charleston, Terrence? Pat Kelsey takes the Louisville job, and Ante says, I want to be a part of what Chris Mack's starting here.
I think the biggest thing was he knew he was going to get to play more minutes. You know, when you watch Pat Kelsey's teams play, they play 20 to 24 minutes at most. Chris Mack promised him, hey, I'm going to play you elongated minutes. I'm going to let you flourish a little bit. We're going to give you 30 to 35. And I think that was appealing to him because he's already had success at the level. He just wants more. Nice spin.
Oh, Brzovic has put on a clinic tonight. .22 for Ante. He's one of only 3 in college basketball to be averaging 18, 8, and 3 per game. And we'll show you who the other 2 are at some point. And that's a surprise. You won't believe it, folks. Lamoth can't hit. Brzovic corrals.
This game has settled in. Charleston has settled in. They're more comfortable in their offense. And to be honest, John, they look more well-rested. That's the thing that sticks out more than anything else. Is Brzovic, what can't he do if he knocks that through?
Short on that one. A 9-point game still. It's not over for the Aggies. And that's a huge 3 to get them right back within striking distance. Mackay.
Talked to Monty Ross before the game. I just want my guys to play the right way. I'm setting a culture, a standard for how we're going to play. Now I have the right guys, and if today's any indication, I love the way they're playing and the way they're going about their business. Charleston's a tough place to play, sure, but my goodness, they're moving the ball, they're playing hard, they're competing on every possession, and I admire the grit of these players. They've only played 6 today, and they're right in this game.
Lamoth back on the floor after going down with some issues on the sidelines earlier. That's deflected. It's ruled Aggies basketball, though that looked like it might have gone off Lamoth. Let's see.
We'll be able to take another look at it. I like Lamoth's aggressiveness. Doesn't hit the rim. I think it went off of Fulton's foot. If we're going to be able to take another look, right there. That's a good call by the officiating crew. An excellent officiating crew they have here in Charleston today.
Ron Gruber, AJ Desai, Kellen Milliner. 5 minutes to play. A&T within 6. Trying to pull off an upset. It's good. Lamoth has 15.
We have a 2-possession game in A&T. The confidence, you can see it every time they go up and down the court.
A 4-point game now. Boy, to spin, he lost it. The Aggies at 4-19 overall, 0-10 in the CAA, are alive in this game. Charleston, if you want to stay in the top 4 of this league, you need this game. 10 straight road losses in conference play for A&T and pushed out of bounds here. Charleston, that's going to force A&T in the line because they're in the bonus.
And if you're Hitakoutas, you've got to knock down free throws at this point of the game. As we said earlier, John, only not 47% from the line this season. It could very well come down to, can this guy knock down free throws to keep us in this game? So far tonight, hasn't been able to do so. 0 of 2. They need these.
In the worst way. Can he come through? He cannot. The struggles continue for Hitakoutas.
He shoots that ball off his palm, John, and that's going to need to be fixed. It needs to come off his index and middle finger, and that is too easy. You're getting in here close. The fatigue factor, it might be hard to see on screen, but A&T very much feeling the effects of only playing 6 players.
A&T with 2 timeouts, Charleston with 3. Double bonus from here on out for A&T. Nice give for the bucket. It's Mackay, who has a career-high 14. Hitakoutas delivered the pass.
Terrific pass by Hitakoutas. What he's capable of, he's always on balance. Really good performance by him.
Sweaty palms time in Charleston. Boyd turned it over. Lamoth has it.
Big possession right here, John. Charleston struggling with turnovers. Not typically their MO. Here in this second half, they have given it away.
The Aggies without a conference win. Lamoth to Hitakoutas. Hitakoutas a spin. That's travel.
What a great game we have. A&T battling in. Hitakoutas frustrated, John. Doesn't matter on both ends. Terrific pass by Berzovic. Nice finish by Debo right around the rim. And then A&T, Hitakoutas. It's been his show for the Aggies. And up and under, a terrific pass. And Jalal Mackay has them within 4.
You're without Forrest, who are still suspended due to a violation of team rules. And yet Terrence Oglesby, this team has been gritty.
They sure have, and you can see the effects of all these minutes starting to accumulate for these guys. Lamoth goes down with a couple of cramps earlier in the game. He's back in this lineup, but you see, not just with him, Hitakoutas visibly fatigued. Some of these other guys, it's tough. Playing 6 guys that many minutes, especially guys that are relied on to make decisions with consistency, you have to tough through the fatigue factor if you're going to be able to stay in this game towards the end. 3 minutes to go, down 4 on the road. Need to gut it out.
This A&T team with a vicious block. Oh, that is nasty from Ogletree, who was a tree. And a foul. And Lamoth is down and in a heap of pain. Oh, no. It's Shell, rather.
Man, Cam Shell stepped on somebody's foot, and I don't know the severity. Obviously, we're not going to speculate, but the young man in a lot of pain, and he is the guy that A&T cannot lose. We'll be able to take another look at it right here, John. Hitakoutas, nice pass out. You see the quick catch, the left ankle. Oof. We only have to see it once, right? My goodness.
And he's trying to grind it out. You got to respect this.
Tough bunch of young men for the Aggies.
They sure are. Cammy and Shell to the line, transferring up to Division I from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And Terrence, the free throw problems continue. A&T is 6 of 12 from the line. 1 for 2, 1 possession game, 2:44 on the clock as Kaliansis comes back in.
And as you notice right now, if I'm Charleston and Chris Mack, we score here, we're right into pressure. No pure point guard out on the floor for A&T. Try to up your pressure on the defensive end of the floor.
Berzovic on the back down. Kaliansis trying to guard him. Berzovic has been the man tonight, and a foul is called on Lamothe.
And that is a terrific foul call. And here's the thing, the first thing everybody's going to say, well, the ref on the baseline was right there. Well, he didn't have an angle. He had what's called a closed angle. The ref on the far side sees it directly, gets across the arms. Well done by the officiating crew, recognizing that circumstance and situation.
Charleston with 3 timeouts, A&T with 2. Free throws from here as it's into Berzovic, and he's fouled. Ante Berzovic, 4 of 6 from the line tonight, going to the line for a big pair.
He is a load in the post, John. And if you're just as big, chances are he's quicker. If you're a little smaller, he can finish over the top. Just such a versatile scorer. These are big ones, though.
Well, he's just 69% from the year, from the line on the year. Makes the first, 24 years of age, has been in so many big scenarios. As Jones checks back in, he does have 4 fouls. Kaliansis checks out with Shell back in. Another big one here for Berzovic. Where do you go?
I think you stay with Lamothe, you set a quick ball screen, and you try to get Hitikutis in a short roll. That's what you need to try to do. You see him get the ball right here. Let him be your decision maker.
Less than 2 minutes to go. Just another night in the CAA. Lamothe is off. Rebound to Stonkus.
I think Lamothe could have really drove the basket there. He comes off tight, gets the handoff. It's 5 points. You don't necessarily need the 3.
Shot clock is at 10. Here's Boyd. Darian Boyd to Berzovic. Ante Berzovic. He is a beast with 3. Berzovic with 2 to Boyd, who can't hit. Tapped out. Aggies have it. They still have life with 80 seconds to go. Shell. Hitikutis. Got 2 timeouts if they'd like to use one. Here's Hitikutis with 15. Hitikutis on the back down, and he is fouled.
What a great move, and everybody's begging for a travel. I don't want to hear it. That is terrific footwork by the Greek big man. You're going to see it. Here's Berzovic, nice pass, excellent contest, no dice for the Cougars. And on the other end, look at the footwork. Baseline drive, 1, 2, up and over the top. Good, no call on the travel. You can create that much space with the step, but it has to be a 1-2. And Hitikutis is doing a nice job of managing and being economical with his steps. And hey, John, the bank's open.
When in doubt, just use the glass, young man. Unbelievable. 56% from the floor on the season, but 47% from the line. Will he use this again here? Comes off his palm to make it a 1-possession game. Could not get the bounce. 1 minute to go. Terrence, do you play this out if you're A&T, or do you play the foul game?
I think right now, because of the shot clock, there's about a 32-second differential. You play it out. After this, you try to extend the game out.
4 missed free throws for Hitikutis, a 4-point game. Boyd was looking for Berzovic with 5. Ante Berzovic is short. They get the stop they need, but they got to hurry now as the clock's down to 30 seconds. And Monte Ross will use one of his last 2 timeouts. We'll take one, too, and talk about where they go. Has gone on a run to get within striking distance. First, it was Shell with the triple. And then another 3 from Mackay, who's got a career-high 14. Terrence Oglesby. These Aggies are resilient.
They certainly are, and they're doing so with a lot of minutes under their belt right now. This A&T team, the grittiness of this team, but you see it right here. They're losing the paint battle. That's all well and good, but they've competed on the defensive side of the ball, and Charleston guarding the three was huge. Since the first 10 minutes of the game, they've done a better job of that, but it's been the toughness of both of these squads. And more specifically, John, I've been so impressed with what A&T has done today, despite only playing 6 players. These guys really tough, as Chris Mack takes a timeout after seeing the formation.
We'll take a timeout too, and I'm going to ask T.O. what the Aggies should do. Hoping for an 8th CAA win. Game reset. Charleston with 2 timeouts. A&T with 1. And it's the Aggies in the double bonus. Charleston in the single bonus. The possession arrow on a jump ball is with A&T. 27.2 seconds to go. Terrence, if you're Monte Ross, what do you drop?
I think there's a couple things that are working in your favor, John. The fact that you're in the double bonus, you can be aggressive when driving to the paint. So if it were me, I'm trying to get Hitakoutas at the elbow, get him to drive hard, try to get something around the rim. Problem is, he's such a poor free throw shooter, you're scared to put him at the line. So you do that, try to get him to the CAA and have some movement around him. I think you try to run Lamoth off a dribble handoff or something of that nature. He's your best shooter on the floor, especially coming off pin downs. Find a way to get that young man the rock, and I think you're going to be able to find an open look. But you keep coming back to the gritty nature of this Aggies team. Only 6 players playing. They have been tough on tough. But same could be said, too, for Charleston. There's been a lot of uncharacteristic turnovers by some of their players. They've hung with it. They've stayed the course and found their big man in Ante Brzovic. Been a well-played basketball game. I know it's 64-60, but it's been a fun game to watch and a fun game to call with you.
Well, Lamoth fell to the hardwood there, so now it's Shell who may have to improvise. Shell drives and one!
Cam Shell! I need another look. Gotta have another look. This guy. Broken play. Charleston takes him out of it. Cam Shell, who goes down with an ankle issue earlier in this game, fights back. The toughness again. What a finish at the cup.
A stop to the Shell station. The Aggies needed it, and Djokovic has fouled out of this game. And now Shell can try to make this a one-point game with still an eternity of time left with 21 ticks to go. How about this?
You get something going to the basket, and on a broken play, your older, experienced point guard finds a way to make a play. Cam Shell.
Cam Shell, 79% free throw shooter on the year. 34 of 43 on the season from the line. Djokovic fouls out. A huge free throw for Shell. Cold-blooded, 1-point game, 21 seconds to go. Charleston 2 timeouts.
Quick trap, then foul if you don't force the turnover right away. Have to have something right here.
Boyd lost the ball. A whistle comes in. They say it is Charleston ball. There was not a foul called. They will head to the monitor to review this.
And I'll be honest, I have a bad angle from where we're sitting. I'm on the opposite side at midcourt. We're going to be able to take another look at it here. Terrific trap by A&T. Oh, wow. They're going to take another look at it. We'll take one more closer look here. Darian Boyd, I don't know, John. I'm sitting here, I'm looking at these replays. It's close.
Based on those 2 looks, that looked like it went off of Boyd. But Terrence, he was draped by 2 defenders. There's a lot of contact here.
But at the same time, you can't review for the foul call.
Of course not.
You can only review for the, I know you know that, John. I'm explaining to the people watching it. But they can't review for the foul call. No. They can only review for the out of bounds. That's going to be a huge part of this.
For those of you tuning in for the Louisiana Tech Liberty game, you'll be able to find it streaming free on the CBS Sports app or at cbssports.com/CBSSN as soon as it tips off. And, of course, we'll get you out there immediately after the conclusion of this game. So, again, the officials, the call stands. So it is Charleston basketball. All they could review for there are two items. Number one, the clock, but most importantly there, whose ball it is. And so it does stay with the Cougars, and the clock will be set, we're told, at 18.9 seconds. And this is an awkward angle to be inbounding from. They go 18 even on the clock. Awkward angle here, Terrence.
Absolutely it is, and you try to force it away from the rim, get a quick trap. If I'm Charleston, I'm starting my offense a little bit further towards half court. They're going to take another timeout. And here's the deal, John. If you want to watch that other game, you just head on over to that stream. We're staying right here in Charleston for a barn burner.
The Louisiana Tech Liberty game is underway and now available streaming free on the CBS Sports app or at cbssports.com/CBSSN. We'll get you out there as soon as this one is over. Now, what does this mean for the Charleston Cougars? They need to win this game because you get a double bye in the CAA tournament. Up next, an Elon team that's much improved, and then it's at UNCW. It's 4 straight on the road, T.O.
Incredibly important, and you play Elon, who comes to town, the second tallest team in college basketball. Real size at Elon. They're a tough matchup no matter who they play, but you're right. The next 4 games on the road for Charleston, this is huge. And then for A&T, you see how their schedule comes up once again on CBS Sports Network. And I'm tuning in because that means I get to watch Hitakutas play another game.
All right, 64-63. Charleston with 1 timeout, A&T with 1. It bears noting Charleston's in the single bonus, so on a foul it would be a 1-and-1. On a tie-up, it's A&T ball. And they swarm Fulton, who will go in the line.
And that's fine. You live with this if you're A&T. You almost force the turnover, sure, but only at 1.3 seconds come off the clock. And no matter what occurs here, you're going to have a 1-possession ball game. So what do you need to focus on if you're Coach Monty Ross? You have to get this defensive rebound. That's your only focus at this point of the game. Get this offensive rebound. You have 1 timeout left. You could draw something up for your guys.
23 of 26 on the year is Fulton. Now 24 of 27, 16.7 seconds. You just said it. A&T with a timeout. Charleston with 1 as well. Timeout call by North Carolina A&T. So, Terrence, with 16.7
John, I don't like the timeout.
seconds.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I don't like that timeout. I would, if I were the coach, I would want to see what the deficit is after this second free throw. Because if it's 3, I'm drawing something up completely different. And they worked on after game situation, sure, but I would rather know what I'm up against going into these last 16.7 seconds, because sometimes you just don't know what exactly you need to draw up. I think it makes it really difficult.
The Aggies joining the CAA last year, so this is meeting number 5 between Charleston and North Carolina A&T. And their last win over the Cougars came in 1991, 10 straight road CAA losses, 20 consecutive losses against CAA competition. Fulton's 24-27 from the free throw line on the season. So, look, law of averages says 3-point game. I do have to ask you this, Terrence. If you're Charleston, would you foul up 3?
Man, I think that's the debate nowadays. It's not necessarily do you need a 3 right now. It's do you foul before A&T can get up a 3. And here's the thing. Over the course of this game, A&T shot the ball just okay from 3. 8 of 24 on the day, and here in the second half, 3 of 9. So an even 33%. How lucky do you feel? That's where we're at. But I think if they make this free throw, I think you do, especially with the guys that A&T has in the game from a free throw shooting perspective. I think you foul once the ball gets past half court. But you need to let seconds come off the clock before using that foul.
The Aggies, by the way, in year 3 in the CAA, trying to beat Charleston for the first time since '91, now trying to extend this. Down by 3, you said once it gets past half court, you would think about doing it. 8 of 24 from 3. Here is Shell. No timeouts for the Aggies. Now you're at 10 seconds. They're playing it out thus far. Cam Shell with 7. Lamoth with 5. He's running out of time. Lamoth with a heave. It's long. The Cougars survive.
Terrific defensive discipline by the Charleston Cougars. C.J. Fulton, that's who you want at the point of attack. The smartest player on the roster, and Lamoth just not able to shake free enough. This was terrific defense by Charleston. Some people want to foul, some people don't. Look at the defensive discipline right here by C.J. Fulton. He's not going to foul. He's over top of the screen, and he's straight up. No foul. If he makes it, we can live with a tough shot. They don't hit it. Doesn't make her. This is tough defense and a tough performance for A&T. Both teams deserve the win, but Charleston comes out with this one. What a contest.
And for A&T, what an effort as Charleston goes to 8-3. Campbell right now on top, but the Cougars want to stay in the top 4 of the CAA and try to keep ascending. That does it for us. Charleston 66, A&T 63 for Terrence Oglesby, our entire crew. I'm John Fanta. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network's 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Now we send you to Louisiana Tech and Liberty with Dave Ryan and Tyreek Turner.